It puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
Weird.
At the beginning of a lot of trials, lawyers will stipulate to certain aspects of the case to streamline things and save time, basically saying that certain facts are already agreed upon as truth and aren't in dispute. I think we kinda need to do that here. 1. These live-action remakes should not be a thing. Failed weatherman Bob Iger fundamentally misunderstands that Disney is a dream factory, not a dream photocopier.
You knew your limitations. That was an important
I knew I was bad.
As the apparently self-aware poster for the live-action Lilo and Stitch points out, nobody wished for this. Yeah, no shit. 2. Rachel Zegler should never have been cast. If representation really was as important as they say, then someone of Germanic heritage would have been cast, as it's a German fairy tale.
If Hank Azaria can't voice Apu anymore because he's not Indian, does that mean all the CGI dwarves are at least all voiced by people with dwarfism?
Right you are. Excellent point. Number 3, we further stipulate that Rachel Zegler is an outstanding singer. No one takes issue with her vocal talent.
What we take issue with is what comes out of her mouth when she's not singing.
Exactly. If anything, this movie proves that if she had just kept her mouth shut, she may have actually had a really promising career to look forward to. So let's get to Snow White. We got to the theater on a Saturday night, opening weekend, just 10 minutes before showtime, and this is what greeted us.
Oh dear.
People all over the interwebs are posting similar pics of how the audiences are just not showing up for this thing. I applaud all of you for holding on to your money. It's the only way they're going to learn. I myself have made it a point not to reward Disney for these live-action cash grabs, not even to review on this channel, but this movie is a special case. Admittedly, it's really hard to separate the film from all the noise around it. In fact, I can't ever remember a film that had so much baggage weighing it down. And the film does itself no favors when it takes one of those things, namely forced diversity, and constantly beats you over the head with it like an iron club. For example, it takes great pains in going out of its way to show us how diverse the villagers are, robbing them of their true cultural heritage and forcing them into this inauthentic setting that throws you right out of the movie. Now, something I fully expected going into this was that the film that Rachel got in trouble for describing at D23 would not be the film I'd be seeing after all the shoots and reshoots. What I was not expecting was the bait and switch. We'd thought the Portland baristas had been replaced by the CGI dwarves. Not so, not by a long shot. She meets the dwarves, don't get me wrong, then she leaves them behind to go meet the baristas. They're all in the movie. We literally get to witness Disney mash two different movies together.
They created the uncanny CGI dwarves to placate the masses, but then doubled down on the baristas bullshit.
Right, none of whom you actually see in any of the severely downvoted trailers. Why did they leave them out? Because they knew it would piss people off.
Imagine how much more ratioed those trailers would have been if they had been in there.
If it wasn't pathetic, it would be hilarious. You can actually watch Snow White walk into a different film. After she first meets the dwarves and then they part ways, her hair changes. Her personality becomes colder and more aggressive, and then we meet the baristas. It makes me wonder if Whistle While You Work was even in the original version of the film, because I can't imagine her singing it to a bunch of bandits while they're busy stealing things from people. Speaking of the music, it was clearly written by someone who thought they could copy Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's not a thing you can do. Forgettable, sometimes downright unmelodic, hollow. I found only one of the new songs entertaining, and it was for all the wrong reasons. Princess Problems. When you put it in the context of Rachel Zegler and her attitude outside of the film, it was just a little bit too on the nose. There was virtually no character development for any of the characters, with the exception of one, and even that turned into a serious misstep for the mouse. Normally, I wouldn't even call something like this out, but given Disney's relentless, piously preaching diversity diversity and inclusion and acceptance of others, I think it's only fitting and right to shine a light on just a little bit of the rich hypocrisy in play. As we all know from the original, Dopey doesn't speak. At one point in this film, one of the other dwarves bullies him by saying that he's dopey because he doesn't speak, implying that he's in essence broken and somehow less than because he doesn't talk. My best friend, who I saw the movie with, has a nonverbal autistic child. He and his wife love and accept their child with all of their heart and do not in any way consider him to be broken just because he can't speak. Over the course of this film, Dopey ends up speaking. That's another affront in and of itself, but he's shown being accepted and loved at the end after he is able to speak, revealed actually to be the narrator for the entire movie. Now, I will grant you that it's kind of implied that he lost the ability to speak after some sort of trauma, which is different than something like autism, and Snow White showed him the love and encouragement he needed to overcome this. But Disney, you cannot preach inclusion and diversity the way you have been and then turn around and label someone as being broken because of a disability. You can all the way off. For this movie, I lay absolutely no fault or blame on the feet of any of the actors, even Rachel. Her efforts at career self-deletion will be rewarded as appropriate. As seems to be happening a lot lately, everyone did their best with what little they were given. Some have called out Gal Gadot for chewing up the scenery, but given the nature of the evil queen, I felt it was right on the money. If she had done any less, it would have turned out even more wooden and flat, and there was enough of that going on in this film already. The bulk of this movie's issues revolve around the knots that the writers had to tie themselves into in order to twist the spirit of the fable into something it is not.
Like changing the meaning of Snow White's name.
For starters, yes. In the original, the mirror is literally an allegory for external beauty. Twisting it to mean an internal righteousness makes absolutely no sense. If the queen is evil, wouldn't everyone in the kingdom be more fair than she? Even the 4-year-olds Disney is pandering to will pick up on that. This film infantilizes the audience regardless of age. The heart of the original movie revolves around Snow White, her purity, her innocence, and someday my prince will come. Disney drops that iconic song and changed the meaning, thinking today's audience would be more accepting. That the world has moved on from those kind of ideals. That was also the wrong move. Perhaps given everything that's going on in the world right now, we need to be reminded of those ideals now more than ever. Disney became so obsessed with pushing their agenda, they forgot the true foundations of happiness and understanding. All they had to do was watch their own movies. This hollow confection that looks like a bad TV movie and cost nearly $500 million lacks heart. They carved it out and put it in a box.
I see what you did there.
But for Disney, that was the point. They make movies like this knowing that younger audiences are naturally going to gravitate towards the newer product and supplant the old, just like Rachel said.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
She may have been just parroting back things that the director or writers or even Bob Iger may have said to her, and she got the blame. Disney's always been trying to rewrite history. Cast members in the park point with either an open hand or 2 fingers. Why? Because it's what Walt did. Point of fact, no, he didn't. He was seen pointing with 2 fingers in a lot of old pictures because he had a cigarette in his hand and they airbrushed it out. Don't let them rewrite history. Stay home. Do not see this film. Do not watch it on Disney Plus when it hits. If you have children, maybe take this as an opportunity to go out of your way to show your children the original. For the first time in history, I'm not giving this film a rating. I'm telling you to stay away. Full stop. It's the only thing you can do to help get that company back on the right path. And hey, you know, Rachel said she didn't want our business, so I guess she's okay with all this.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks.
Let us know what you think in the comments and stay fresh, cheese bags.
But I love cheese.